Good day, welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video I want to talk a little bit about my experience leveling through to 80 in World of Warcraft's War Within expansion. So firstly, just to warn everyone, the cutscenes you'll only really be seeing from the first area. However, obviously I will have footage from later areas that won't necessarily spoil anything, but may give you glimpses of things you may not want to see. So if you're someone that's of that way, please avoid looking at this video. Now, in terms of the actual questing, in the process of getting to level 80, I think in terms of this expansion, it's probably the best leveling experience I've had in quite a while, at least for my first character. There's a lot of reasons as to this. Firstly, the number of story-based cutscenes, like settings, voiceovers, voice lines, and just the general transition of information relating to the campaign and the questline in general has been very, very good. Not only has it been thrilling and entertaining, but it's been in a way whereby I've been able to focus on the main quest. For information, I quested with a friend of mine, and we pretty much just focused on the main quest whilst doing some delves, some side quests, and enjoying our time. We didn't focus on speed leveling, we mainly focused on just enjoying what we wanted to do at the time. It took around about 10 hours to get to level 80, and I would say that was with a relatively relaxed vibe. Obviously we were trying to do it all in one sitting, or at least on the first day. The thing is, if you focus solely on the quest, so if you don't pick up any side quests along the way, you will come short of level 80. There's just not enough experience to get to level 80. If you do some dungeons along the way, maybe do some side quests, then getting to level 80 is actually fairly simple and fairly straightforward. I will say, if you do the main quest first and then go back to do side quests, although it's more efficient, it can feel a little bit hollow because the main quest is actually such a good driving force and so entertaining that honestly, as much as it's way faster to unlock world quests and to just rapidly progress, honestly, it feels way more productive and more meaningful to do the side quests along the way. You don't need to rush. You can take the extra couple hours on your first character to get yourself through to the end. Everything else, the environments are all fantastic. So from Dornagal all the way to Gundagars, all the way to the Ring Deeps, Hallowfall. Pretty much every zone looks really, really good. I think the presentation of the zones is really well done. I think the enemies are diverse enough to make each zone separate. A lot of them are obviously reskins, as it always kind of is, of previous mobs. For example, the Ringed, Hallowfall has areas of Nerubians, but also of the bat-like creatures from the swamps. And then also obviously from the vampire zones in so in Shadowlands. So it's all certain reskins obviously of mobs. There are some new ones of course, and those are always interesting as well. I think the races introduced, like the Earthen, the new race in the Nerubian area, I don't want to spoil too much by mentioning them, but I think all of them were really, really well done. I think delves also for me have been really, really fun. They're not super productive EXP wise, but they have been a ton of fun for getting some loot, for just exploring, getting rewards, and I think overall the treasures and just general puzzles and rares and everything that you encounter along the way have been done really, really well. There's the nice balance of complicated, complex puzzles that require you to think or engage a little bit more, and also the super simple, I found a treasure chest, I want to open it. I think which has been done well and spaced out relatively well. There are some treasures that are time gated, and I think this will irritate a few players, but I think in general for me it's been really well done. For another point of reference, I did not play early access. I played pretty much a couple hours into release, around 7 or 8 hours into release. So my experience was of a normal server. I'm on a high pop server on release day, playing through the game. Now, obviously that all sounds great. There are a couple things that I think, for me at least, are, I don't want to say complaints, but are certain things that I would like to draw attention to. Especially if you have gear from the previous expansion, like decent gear. The first couple levels can actually, and the enemies can really actually just go by super duper quickly. But then you get to this level 75, 76 area where all of a sudden things don't go so fast. A lot of the times, and especially if you're just doing main quest, your drops of gear are very limited to like rings, trinkets, secondary stats, and the occasional weapon. It doesn't feel like enough of a gear curve. Not that you'll struggle with the story at all, but you can definitely feel this kind of hindrance where you go from like eliminating groups in 2 seconds to like basically doing full rotations on groups. Now, I don't mind doing full rotations on groups in the story, but the thing is, I think for some players, that curve, that kind of jump from like, oh, I'm a god, to I'm not really a god anymore, can be a little bit disruptive. So it's something you do have to just be prepared for, especially if you're someone who didn't have gear, or who did have gear. If you didn't have gear, then also there could be an interesting curve for you as well. So I think they're addressing that with a hotfix. Apparently it's making leveling slower, but we'll have to see how they address that. But yeah, other than that, I've had a great time, a great experience. If you're someone who's been concerned about the leveling experiences, I genuinely think this is the best leveling experience I personally had since Legion. And I really enjoyed Legions. I felt like I was leveling in accordance with the pacing of the story. And I feel that, and I feel a greater hindrance of the story right now. So enjoy.